The Adventure of the Lost Treasure. Once upon a time, in a small, quiet town nestled between the mountains and the sea, there lived a young girl named Emily. She was curious, brave, and always eager for adventure. Emily lived with her grandmother, who had raised her ever since her parents were lost at sea when she was very young. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the sea, Emily sat by the window of her grandmother's cottage, reading an old, tattered book. Her grandmother had given her the book just that morning, saying it once belonged to her great-grandfather, a sailor who had spent his life exploring distant lands. Emily was deeply absorbed in the story of her great-grandfather's travels when a yellowed piece of paper slipped out from between the pages. The paper felt ancient, brittle at the edges, and on it was a rough drawing of an island, with an X marked in the center. Below the drawing were 3 words written in shaky handwriting: "The Lost Treasure." Emily's heart raced with excitement. Could this be a real treasure map? She rushed to her grandmother, who was sitting in her rocking chair, knitting by the fire. "Grandma, look what I found!" Emily exclaimed, holding out the map. Her grandmother put down her knitting and adjusted her glasses. "Ah," she said softly, "I haven't seen this in years." "Do you know what it is?" Emily asked eagerly. Her grandmother smiled, a distant look in her eyes. "That," she said, "is the map your great-grandfather left behind. He spoke of it often, said it would lead to something valuable, something he never had the chance to find." Emily's curiosity grew stronger. "Do you think it's a real treasure?" "I don't know, my dear," her grandmother replied. "But if it is, you would have to be very brave to go after it. The seas can be dangerous, and the island might be far away." But Emily's mind was already made up. She had always dreamed of an adventure, and now, it seemed, one had found her. The next morning, with the map tucked safely in her pocket, she packed a small bag of essentials: water, some food, and a compass her grandmother gave her, and headed to the harbor. There, she found Mr. Fisher, the old boatman, who had known her since she was a child. His boat was worn from years of use, but sturdy. "Where are you off to, Emily?" Mr. Fisher asked as she approached him. "I need to find an island," Emily said, showing him the map. "Can you help me?" Mr. Fisher studied the map, his face thoughtful. "This is a strange map, and that island doesn't look familiar," he said slowly. "But I can take you as far as the open sea. After that, it'll be up to you to navigate." Emily nodded, her determination shining through. She climbed aboard the boat, and soon they were sailing out into the vast blue ocean. For hours they sailed, the wind in their hair and the waves gently rocking the boat. As they traveled, Mr. Fisher taught Emily how to use the compass and read the sky for direction. He showed her how to tie knots and even told her stories of his own adventures at sea, after what seemed like a long day. The island from the map finally came into view. It was small and covered in thick, green trees. A ring of rocks surrounded the island, making it difficult to approach. Mr. Fisher helped Emily into a smaller boat and handed her the oars. "This is as far as I can go," he said. "Be careful, Emily. The sea can be unpredictable. I will, Emily promised, and with a final wave, she rowed toward the island. When she reached the shore, Emily felt a strange mix of excitement and nervousness. The island was quiet, almost too quiet. She pulled out the map and followed the path it showed, winding through the dense jungle. The air was thick with humidity, and the sounds of birds and insects echoed all around her. After an hour of walking, Emily reached a clearing. In the center of the clearing stood an old stone statue, worn down by time and weather. The X on the map was marked right where the statue stood. This must be it, she whispered to herself. She began to search around the statue, pushing aside vines and dirt, but there was no sign of a treasure. Frustration began to creep in, but Emily refused to give up. She carefully studied the statue and noticed a small, unusual symbol carved into the stone, a star with a circle around it. She pressed the symbol, and with a soft click, the ground beneath the statue shifted. Slowly, a hidden trapdoor opened, revealing a staircase leading down into darkness. Emily's heart raced with excitement and fear. She took a deep breath and descended the stairs. The air below was cool and smelled of damp earth. After a few moments, she reached a small underground chamber. There, in the center of the room, sat a wooden chest covered in dust. With trembling hands, Emily opened the chest. Inside was not gold or jewels, but something even more valuable, a collection of old journals, maps, and letters. They were written by explorers from long ago, people who had traveled to distant lands and made discoveries that had been forgotten by time. As she flipped through the pages, Emily realized that this was her great-grandfather's true treasure, knowledge, stories, and a legacy of exploration. He had collected these documents, hoping one day to share them with the world. Suddenly, Emily heard a noise behind her. She spun around, her heart pounding, only to see Mr. Fisher standing at the top of the staircase. "I thought I'd better check on you," he said with a smile. "Did you find what you were looking for?" Emily smiled back, holding up one of the journals. "I think I found something even better." Together, they climbed back up to the surface, the weight of the journals heavy in Emily's bag, but her heart light with excitement. She knew that this was only the beginning of her adventures. There were still so many places to explore, so many stories to uncover. As they rowed back to the boat and sailed home, the sun set in a blaze of colors, casting a golden glow over the island. Emily looked back one last time, her mind already filled with dreams of her next journey. Story summary: the story is about a young girl named Emily who discovers an old treasure map in a book that belonged to her great-grandfather. Inspired by the idea of adventure, she decides to follow the map and find the lost treasure. With the help of Mr. Fisher, an old boatman, she sets out on a journey across the sea. Eventually, Emily reaches a mysterious island, where she finds a hidden staircase leading to an underground chamber. Inside, she discovers a chest. However, the treasure is not gold or jewels, but something even more valuable, knowledge in the form of journals, maps, and letters left behind by explorers, including her great-grandfather. This treasure of knowledge inspires Emily to continue her adventures in the future, vocabulary to learn, curiosity, a desire to learn or know more. Brittle, something that is easily broken or damaged. Navigate, to plan and direct a route or course. Dense, closely packed together. Thick, legacy, something valuable that is passed down from one generation to another. Key themes and lessons: adventure and curiosity. Emily's curiosity and desire for adventure drive the story forward. She wants to explore the unknown, which is an important theme. In learning English, it's helpful to approach new vocabulary and concepts with the same sense of curiosity and willingness to explore. Determination. Throughout the story, Emily shows determination. She doesn't give up, even when she's nervous or things seem difficult. This teaches the lesson that perseverance can lead to unexpected rewards, something you can also apply to learning a language. Don't give up, even if it feels hard at times. Value of knowledge. The treasure Emily finds isn't material wealth, but the knowledge and legacy left behind by explorers. This is a valuable lesson. Knowledge, stories, and learning are priceless treasures, just like mastering English is an invaluable skill. Breaking down the structure. 1. Introduction. We are introduced to Emily, a young girl who lives with her grandmother. We learn about her great-grandfather, a sailor, and the mysterious treasure map she finds in his old book. This sets the stage for an adventure. 2. The journey begins. Emily talks to her grandmother and Mr. Fisher, the boatman. This part shows Emily's growing excitement and determination. She starts learning new things from Mr. Fisher, like how to use a compass. This is a part of the story where Emily gathers help and information. Much like how you might gather tools, like a dictionary or a language partner, to improve your English. 3. The island. Emily reaches the island and begins her search for the treasure. She explores the jungle, eventually finding the hidden staircase that leads underground. The description of the island and Emily's feelings, nervousness, excitement, helps build tension, which keeps the reader interested. 4. The discovery. Emily discovers that the treasure is not gold or jewels but a collection of old journals, maps, and letters filled with knowledge. This twist in the story is meaningful because it shows that sometimes, what we find in our journey might be different from what we expected, but still valuable. 5. Conclusion. Emily, now excited by the treasure of knowledge, sails back home with Mr. Fisher, dreaming of future adventures. The ending suggests that Emily's journey is just beginning, leaving room for more exploration and learning. Just like in English learning, one discovery opens the door to more knowledge. Vocabulary and context. Let's look at some of the vocabulary used in the story and why it's important to learn. Curiosity. Example from the story: she was curious, brave, and always eager for adventure. Curiosity means having a strong desire to learn or know something. It is important in this story because Emily's curiosity drives her to follow the map and seek out the treasure. In learning English, curiosity helps you want to learn more words and practice new skills. Brittle. Example from the story: the paper felt ancient, brittle at the edges. Brittle means something that is fragile or easily broken. This is describing the map, showing that it is old and delicate. It's a good word to describe physical things that are easily breakable. Navigate. Example from the story: after that. It'll be up to you to navigate. Navigate means to find your way, especially when you are traveling. Here, it refers to Emily finding her way to the island. In a broader sense, to navigate can also mean figuring out how to solve a problem or understand something, like navigating through English grammar. Dense, example from the story, the island was small and covered in thick, green trees. Dense means closely packed together. This word helps describe the jungle on the island, making it easier for readers to picture a place full of trees, plants, and very little open space. Legacy, example from the story, this was her great-grandfather's true treasure, knowledge, stories, and a legacy of exploration. Legacy refers to something valuable passed down from the past, often from ancestors. In the story, Emily's great-grandfather left behind a legacy of knowledge and exploration. In language learning, you can think of legacy as the knowledge you build that will benefit you for a long time. Practice activities. Here are a few activities you can do to improve your English based on this story. Summarize the story. Try retelling the story in your own words. This helps with both comprehension and speaking skills. Vocabulary sentences. Take the new words, curiosity, brittle, navigate, dense, legacy, and write sentences of your own using each word. This helps reinforce new vocabulary. Discussion questions. What do you think is more valuable, gold or knowledge? Why? How would you feel if you found a treasure map? Would you follow it? Why do you think Emily's great-grandfather left the journals behind instead of taking the treasure for himself? Write your own adventure. Create a short story where you or a character goes on an adventure. Practice using new vocabulary and forming longer sentences. By reading, understanding, and practicing, you will improve your English step by step, just like Emily discovered more and more on her adventure. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something new today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell notification so that you never miss on new updates. Have a nice day.